The class of 2014 presents the Valedictorians, Salutatorians, Star Students Award Ceremony. Cherish the past, celebrate the present, and conquer the future.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to begin our annual Valedictorian, Salutatorian, Star Student, and Star Teacher Award Ceremony. Please find a seat and make yourself comfortable. Thank you. My name is Devion Lewis, and I am the Salutatorian for Frederick Douglass High School. As an inspiring journalist, I am humbled to introduce the presiding officiant for today's ceremony, Ms. Deidre Dukes from Fox 5 News. When Ms. Dukes is not reporting the big story from the field, you can watch her anchor the weekend editions of Fox 5 News at 6 and 10 p.m. A member of the Fox 5 family since 2005, Ms. Dukes, a California native, earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications at Chico State. She got her first big break in television as an anchor reporter in Fresno and Redding, California. From the sunny West Coast, she headed north to do general assignment reporting at Pittsburgh's WPXI-TV. 3 years later, Atlanta viewers first saw Ms. Dukes reporting from crosstown rival WSB-TV. She made the leap to Fox 5 News in 2005. Every television station needs reporters who can handle any type of story. From criminal cases to City Hall to just plain unpredictable, Ms. Dukes goes the extra mile for every assignment. She is most proud of her contributions to Atlanta's biggest stories like Fulton County courthouse shootings. Since making the move to Atlanta, Ms. Dukes has involved herself in a number of community programs, working closely with groups like Junior League of Atlanta, the Atlanta Association of Black Journalists, and as an advisor to the American Red Cross Minority Recruitment Program. Ms. Dukes and her son make their home in South Fulton County. Please join me in welcoming our presiding officiant, Ms. Deidre Dukes.
Good morning. It is such a pleasure to join you all this morning for such a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. Philanthropist Louisa May Alcott once wrote, quote, "Far away, there in the sunshine, are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty, believe in them, and try to follow where they lead." Of course, we all know excellence is not an aspiration, nor is it a destination. Excellence is the here and now that shapes our futures. Captured in the famed words of Napoleon Hill, cherish the past, celebrate the present, conquer the future is about cherishing your visions and your dreams, as they are the children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. And it is indeed my honor to preside over this ceremony this morning in celebration of Atlanta Public Schools, Valedictorians, Salutatorians, Star Students, and Star Teachers. Welcome to you all. This is a great pleasure, and I'm just so honored to be with you all today. Now, before I acknowledge those gathered here today, please join me in a round of applause for the North Atlanta High School Orchestra. What a wonderful job. Years ago, Plato said music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything. And whether or not you agree with the writer's assessment, there is, of course, something to be said for the sheer beauty and the excellence of improvisation that is found in classical music. So if you could once again join me in thanking these young women and men for just sharing their gift with us this morning. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge several people who are joining us this morning. Superintendent, Mr. Earl B. Davis, Jr. Members of the Atlanta Public Schools Board of Education, Mr. Courtney English, Chair, at-large, Seat 7, Districts 1 and 2. Ms. Nancy Meister, Vice Chair, District 4. Ms. Leslie Grant, District 1. Mr. Byron Amos, District 2. Mr. Matt Westmoreland, District 3. Mr. Stephen D. Lee, District 5. Ms. Ashley P. Collins, District 6. Ms. Cynthia Briscoe Brown, at-large, Seat 8, Districts 3 and 4. Mr. Jason Esteves, Districts 5 and 6. Dr. Howard Grant, Board Executive Director. Members of the Atlanta Public Schools Senior Cabinet, Mr. Steve Smith, Associate Superintendent. Ms. Karen Walden, Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Members of the Atlanta Public Schools Division of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Karen Walden, Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Mr. John O'Connor, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. Ms. Andrea Ferries-Moore, Assistant Superintendent for Administrative Services. Dr. Linda Anderson, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. Ms. Rainey Smith, Executive Director for Curriculum and Instruction. Dr. Sidney Baker, Executive Director of Schools for the North Region. Dr. Danielle Battle, Executive Director of Schools for the South Region. Mr. David White, Executive Director of Schools for the East Region. Dr. Gregory Middleton, Executive Director of Schools for the West Region. And of course, our community partners, Georgia Power and Staples Advantage, high school principals, professional school counselors, and staff. A round of applause for all, please. And of course, all you educators in the room know that we could not do it without the parents and guests joining us today, so a round of applause for them as well. And finally, I wish to acknowledge all of our valedictorians, our salutatorians, our star students, and of course, our star teachers. This is your day. This is your time. Congratulations to you all. And at this time, I'd like to ask Odyssey Wilson, salutatorian at Benjamin E. Mays High School, to come forward. And she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem as sung by Felicia Williams, star student at South Atlanta High School of Health and Medical Sciences.
Good morning. Will everyone please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the National Anthem? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice. Thank you, ladies. Strong partnerships matter as public schools strive for excellence in everything we do. Georgia Power has been a devoted partner and a sponsor of the ceremony, a strong supporter of Atlanta Public Schools through the years. Please join me in welcoming at this time Walt Dukes, Senior Vice President of Metro Atlanta Region, Georgia Power. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Walt Dukes.
Good morning to everybody. Certainly happy to be here this morning, and welcome. Glad to have all of you here as we celebrate another occasion. And this is always a wonderful occasion, one that we thoroughly enjoy. And it's really good to be here with my cousin, Deidre Dukes, Walter Dukes. She's the one that's over from the West Coast, and of course I'm down from Augusta, just in a little country town down in Waynesboro. She's from the big city, so I get to rub elbows with the city girl. It's certainly always a pleasure when you think about the success and think about the wonderful things each of you've done. I'm in a room filled with leaders and future leaders, but also not just future leaders, but now you're leaders. You've done a wonderful job over the years, persevering and doing those great things. And I heard somebody say a little while ago they didn't get an opportunity to be in a room like this. I did get an opportunity to be in a room like this as a valedictorian, but I was in the valedictorian of 27. It wasn't hard. But I looked at this room, and some of you are valedictorians in classes of 200 plus, 300 plus. Tell you what, that is tremendous in what you've been able to achieve, and you ought to feel very proud of what you've been able to do. And one of the things that we do a lot here at Georgia Power, we pursue excellence. And we believe in this business that we're in, we have to pursue excellence. We have to be good at everything that we do. And so as I think about you, and I hope that one day I'll see some of you coming back through the doors to work for Georgia Power. Sure, and I started with Georgia Power some 33 years ago, and I know I don't look like it, but I've been with the company 33 years as an engineer. And I think about one of your other engineers, Errol Davis. Certainly, he was one of those that worked in the utility companies for quite some time, and then as chancellor. And then to come and lead APS, tell you what, I am so grateful to somebody like Errol, who walked in and did such an outstanding job. So I want to give an applause to Errol Davis, who's done such a We've been doing this for over 20 years, and we've always enjoyed being a partner with APS. And certainly, Errol, thank you for the great partnership we've enjoyed during your tenure and through the APS. And certainly to all of the board members, thank you for the great work that you're doing. Certainly to all the teachers, thank you for the great work that you're doing. And to these parents, thank you for the great work you have done and work you still have to do. But before I take my seat, I do want to, there's still work. There's still plenty of work to be done. Before I take my seat, I do want to talk a little bit about safety. One of the things we do at Georgia Power, safety is one of the first and foremost things that we do as a utility. And so as we think about being here today, in an event that something were to happen, we want you to know what to do and how to get out of the building. Just in case we have something happen, and then you would just exit right out the doors that you came into and go right across the street, and we all assemble over there. In the event that you need, somebody needs CPR. How many in here know CPR? We got a few. Oh, wow, that's good. Students. Yeah. So I see one guy saying, I'll take care of two. But we feel like that's very important that you know that. And so we have fire extinguishers on the walls right here. We also have an AED out front, just in the event that we have something happen today. But again, thank you for all that you do. And Deidre, cousin, I know you will do a great job, and thank you for being here as well.
Thank you, Mr. Dukes. And we spoke a little earlier. We're going to make sure we're not related somehow. We're trying to work that out, possibly. My family's from the South, so there may be some connection we have to see. Moving on now, please join me in welcoming Mr. Courtney English, Chair of the Atlanta Public Schools Board of Education. He will be immediately followed by Mrs. Karen Walden, Deputy Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, who will share today's occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Courtney English.
Good morning, everyone. It is definitely a pleasure being with you this morning. As an APS graduate, an APS student, I was never invited to this ceremony. So it's good to be with you finally. If you don't believe me, my high school principal is sitting right there. My counselor is in the audience. We'll work that out. No, it's finally good to be with you. I want to bring greetings on behalf of my colleagues of the Atlanta Board of Education. They have already been acknowledged. They are an absolute wonderful group to work with, and thank you guys for your continued service. I do also want to take a moment to acknowledge my retired colleagues, Miss Cecily Harsh-Canane, who's with us, whose son is actually the star student at Grady High School. Please wave your hand, Cecily. And then Miss LaShondra Butler-Burks, who's with us as well, whose daughter is the salutatorian of the first graduating class at Coretta Scott King. We are definitely grateful to our partners, the dedicated professionals at Georgia Power, for their long-term partnership with students and schools. Their sponsorship of this event once again has been tremendous, and so we thank you all for your continued support. Of course, I definitely want to give kudos to our teachers, counselors, and principals for what they do every single day to support our students. Without you, our students wouldn't be able to be in this room, and so we thank you for your continued service. See, not too long ago, I was actually a teacher. In fact, one of my former students is the salutatorian of Best Academy. Show him who you are, Mike. Yes, I take credit for him. But on days like this, when your students actually get to the point where they can cherish, celebrate, and conquer, then you as a teacher can exhale. To the class of 2014 valedictorians and salutatorians, and to the star students, first I want to salute you. Your hard work has indeed paid off. However, you still have one foot in the Atlanta Public Schools and one foot in the world. So before you take your next step, I would want to share a couple of thoughts of advice. First and foremost, I want to remind you to protect your reputation. I'll say that again. Protect your reputation as you would protect your life. Each of you is an individual brand, like Prada, McDonald's, or Disney. These companies spend millions and millions of dollars developing their brand and protecting their reputation. Remember, we live in a digital age. Once something is posted online, nothing can be erased. Screenshots can be captured on Snapchat. Please watch what you say on Instagram, YouTube, Vine, Tumblr, and all of the other sites that are out there. No one can protect your personal brand better than you. Protect it and protect your reputation as you would your very life. Lastly, I want you to remember to use your gifts to make the world a better place. It is not enough that you be resigned to 6- or 7-figure jobs, corner offices, or company cars. Help somebody. Build as you climb. Please be fearless in your endeavors. Find a cause for which you believe and never hesitate to pour yourself into that cause. As a poet T. Lawrence quotes, all men and women dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake to find that their dream was but mere vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men and women, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes to make them possible. And I fervently believe that everyone in this room is a dangerous man or woman, so act accordingly. My colleagues and I look forward to seeing you in 1 month, 9 days, 17 hours, 25, 26, 27, seconds from now as you march across the stage and make your families, teachers, and yourselves proud. Again, congratulations, and please enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you, Mr. English. Good morning and welcome as we celebrate Atlanta Public Schools' top-ranked students in the class of 2014. It is always exciting to be in the company of students who have excelled today and will position themselves in the future as leaders in government, the arts and sciences, and education. A special thank you and welcome to the Atlanta Board of Education, representatives from Georgia Power, Staples, distinguished guests and honorees. I would especially like to salute the families of our valedictorians, salutatorians, and STAR students. For many of these honorable students, their efforts would not have been possible without the support of their families. Thank you for celebrating this momentous occasion with them. This year, our theme is Cherish the Past, Celebrate the Present, Conquer the Future. Atlanta Public Schools is committed to actively educating all students through academic excellence, preparing them for success in life, service, and leadership. We are raising the standard of excellence in our district as we provide a quality education for every student regardless of background or circumstances. We're preparing students who are college-bound and career-ready, as evidenced by the expansion of our dual enrollment program, the increased number of students earning the technical attainment certification, as well as the increase in the number of students enrolled in AP courses. Moments like today serve to remind us just how critical our work is. To you, our top students, we are not the only ones who know that you are college-bound and career-ready. Many universities across the country also know it. Congratulate yourselves, you have already received acceptances to Howard, Emory, Yale, UGA, Duke, and Morehouse, to name a few. Your accomplishments have afforded you the opportunity to write your own ticket. As we celebrate you this morning, we are aware that you are preparing to welcome a future full of promise. I also encourage you to welcome challenges that expand your capacity for growth. Welcome tasks that push you to go beyond yourself. Continue to welcome each morning with the determination that you will succeed and you will make a difference. Attaining the level of academic excellence you have achieved is more than simply making the right grades. It's also about making the right choices. You are here today because when others chose excuses, you chose excellence. When others gave up, you chose to stay the course. You did not wait to become leaders of tomorrow. You chose to become leaders of today. To all of you in attendance this morning, we are delighted to have you share in the 2014 Valedictorian, Salutatorian, and STAR Student Award ceremony. Thank you for celebrating with our students today, and please enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you both for those inspiring words, well said. I am the parent of a fourth grader, and every morning, or most mornings, you parents can relate to this, it's a struggle getting him to eat breakfast, but I always tell him it's important that you start the day with a good breakfast so you can focus in school, and one day I'll hopefully be seated in a room with you all as an excellent, exceptional student. So with that said,
welcoming Jemiah Powell. She is a valedictorian and STAR student from the Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy. She will share her reflection. Jemiah will be immediately followed by Sherrod McClendon, valedictorian from the Business, Engineering, Science, and Technology Academy at Carson. He will share with us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Powell.
Good morning, distinguished guests, valedictorians, salutatorians, and STAR students. I'm Jemiah Powell, and I proudly stand before you as the first valedictorian of the Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy High School. Congratulations on your outstanding accomplishments, and please join me as we take a moment to cherish the past, celebrate the present, and conquer the future. Each of us today represents trailblazers who made it possible for us to achieve our goals. As you hear the individual's name that represents your school, please stand. This includes the school's alumni, staff, and students. We cherish our past because of Frederick Douglass High School. Who was a social reformer, orator, writer, and statesman. We cherish Booker T. Washington. Who was an educator, author, and orator who became a dominant leader in the African American community. His famous quote resonates with many of us today. Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome. We cherish Coretta Scott King. For her commitment and dedication to preserving the life and legacy of her husband, Martin Luther King Jr., and continuing the fight for equal rights for all. We cherish George Washington Carver. An African-American scientist, educator, and inventor. We cherish Maynard Holbrook Jackson. Who was the first African-American mayor of Atlanta. We cherish Henry Grady. Who was a journalist and orator who helped reintegrate the states of the former Confederacy into the Union after the American Civil War. We cherish Benjamin S. Carson. Who at the age of 33 became the youngest major division director in Johns Hopkins history and the first surgeon to successfully separate conjoined twins. We cherish Benjamin E. Mays. A minister, educator, scholar, and social activist, and the former president of Morehouse College. When he served as the president of the Atlanta Public Schools Board of Education, he supervised the peaceful desegregation of schools. It is with such rich history of our past that we can celebrate the present. We celebrate North Atlanta High School's alumni, Jasmine Guy. An actress, director, singer, and dancer. We celebrate Lynn Westmoreland, alumni of Daniel M. Tharrow High School. Who serves on the U.S. House of Representatives for Georgia's 3rd Congressional District. We celebrate Tracy Rocker, alumni of South Atlanta High School. Former NCAA and NFL player for the Auburn Tigers and Washington Redskins. But most importantly, we celebrate each other. We celebrate our academic achievements as the top students in our respective schools. We celebrate our commitments to excellence and determination for greatness. We celebrate the Posse Foundation and Coca-Cola Scholarship recipients. We celebrate Gates Millennium finalists. We celebrate acceptance letters from various colleges and universities around the nation. We celebrate the many hours of volunteerism and community service. We celebrate surviving advanced placement and international baccalaureate classes. We celebrate our parents, teachers, counselors, administrators, friends, and family members who never allowed us to make excuses. We celebrate knowing that a few months from now, we will enter into the next phase of our personal journeys as we graduate at the Civic Center. We celebrate our courage to face new challenges with confidence. We are destined for greatness, and we will conquer the future. One of us will serve as the President of the United States. One of us will find a cure for cancer. Who in here will pass legislation for students to attend college for free? Who will become the sole owner of a professional sports team? Who will patent the next technological gadget? Together, we will work to destroy racial, social, economic, and gender discrimination. We will continue to serve our communities. We will reach back to give our time and talents. We will make good choices, and we will lead the future with tenacity, transforming the quality of life for all mankind. Again, congratulations on a job well done. May you go forth cherishing the past, celebrating the present, and conquering your future. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Sherrod McClendon, Valedictorian of Best Academy High School at Benjamin S. Carson. And it is a pleasure and honor to address such a distinguished assemblage of honorees and guests this morning. I greet you under the banner of today's theme, cherishing the past, celebrating the present, and conquering the future. My message is called A Clock and a Compass. Noted historian Dr. John Henry Clark said, history is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is a compass they use to find themselves on a map of human geography. Our celebration of Atlanta Public Schools' academic elite is a gift, perfectly packaged in this collection of moments in present-day Atlanta. But just moments ago, we were dressed in Sean John, walking into kindergarten classrooms in schools like Peyton Forest, Centennial Place, and Grove Park. Schools with the latest desktops, then laptops and tablets. And later, we introduced our own powerful computers that fit into the palm of our hands. We are the generation that taught the world how to change the globe in 140 characters or less. One post, yes, one tweet at a time. When we reached ninth grade, there was an app for almost everything. But many of the challenges that lie ahead would defy and dismiss Android's navigation and Siri's assistance. As the social and cultural landscapes in our society and all over the world change, the ability to read a clock and compass is often taken for granted. However, in times like these, the ability to make a clock and compass is eclipsed by the willingness to be the clock, pace setter and beat keeper, to be the compass, way maker and path seeker. From Crimea to Cairo, we are witnesses today to drastic change. And tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, we will be the clock and compass by which great and powerful changes occur. History teaches us great lessons about change and transformation. Our great city of Atlanta is no stranger to transformation through upheaval. Let us learn from her example, rising from the ashes of 1864, the beautiful, majestic Phoenix soared. Even in her role as battleground and stronghold during the civil rights movement, she thrived and continues to do so. When lost in Atlanta or anywhere in the world, we must remember her example, a story that is told in the names of those who have paved the way before us, names of streets and educational institutions throughout our city. Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, Henry W. Grady, Daniel M. Thurl, Maynard Jackson, Benjamin E. Mays, Alonzo E. Krim, Coretta Scott King, Best Academy at Benjamin S. Carson, and on the southern tip of our Atlanta Public Schools campus, South Atlanta, and due north, of course, North Atlanta. As a member of the first graduating class of Best Academy High School, I am grateful for the signposts, pioneers, and bridge builders who have helped make today our day possible. Congratulations on your achievements, and remember that when man-made clocks and GPS fails, or compasses fail, look to our signposts, examples our great city of Atlanta has provided. Like the drum major for justice and his stride for freedom, become the clock, pace setter, and beat keeper. Become the compass, way maker, and path seeker. Now, we move forward to conquer the future. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Powerful words and beautiful reflections. Thank you both for sharing. Right now, please join me in welcoming Samuel Heller, Salutatorian at Henry Grady High School, who will introduce today's speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Samuel Heller.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sam Heller, and I'm the salutatorian for Grady High School. In pursuit of my goal to become a diplomat, I plan to major in international relations at either Emory University or Harvard University. Today, it is my honor to introduce the superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools. They tell me that Mr. Davis is supposed to be retired, but he hasn't yet. Instead, he has been working hard to help make APS a stronger, better system for all students. I won't read all of his bio, but I would like to point out some interesting facts about Mr. Davis's experience. Before joining Atlanta Public Schools, he led the University System of Georgia for 5 years. He also led an energy holding company, Alien Energy Corps, for 8 years. He has served in several executive leader positions at Wisconsin Power and Light for the past 20 years. And he served on several corporate boards, including General Motors, Union Pacific, and British Petroleum. Clearly, our superintendent has a unique perspective on how my classmates can strive to demonstrate excellence in everything we do. We are on a journey to cherish the past, celebrate the present, and conquer the future. Let's hear from someone who has been on a powerful, fascinating, and lesson-filled journey. Please join me in welcoming our superintendent, Mr. Errol B. Davis, Jr.
Thank you very much, Sam, for that introduction. Sam just told you a couple of the places that he's been accepted. I believe he said Emory and Harvard, and he didn't mention Georgetown. He didn't mention University of Georgia, and he has at Emory a full Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship. So let's give this special young man a round of applause. The room, of course, is filled with very special people, whether they're valedictorians, salutatorians, STAR students, administrators, but a special thanks to all of you who got those students here, particularly the parents. Thank you very much. You students should know that as valedictorians and salutatorians and as STAR students, you're in some very heady company. The distinguished writer and activist, W.E.B. Du Bois, was the valedictorian of his New England high school. Robert Frost, the noted poet, was also the valedictorian of a New England high school. Alice Walker was the valedictorian of her high school right here in Eatonton, Georgia. Like Mr. English, I was not the valedictorian of my high school. I did not graduate, as some of you will, cum laude. I graduated, thank the laude. But there are lots of examples of your contemporaries as well. Carrie Underwood was a salutatorian. Alicia Keys was a valedictorian. Michelle Obama, the First Lady, was a salutatorian. So you are in some very good and some very heady company. I've been asked to deliver a challenge to you, and I think you've had a lot of challenges so far, and you've clearly overcome them. They gave me the challenge, of course, of being brief, which is also a challenge for me, an ongoing challenge. I want to build a little bit on what Mr. English said about your reputation and protecting your reputation, because a number of the speakers have alluded to modern social media. And let me sort of paraphrase a little bit. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in cyberspace stays in cyberspace. Let me give you an example. We had a very interesting situation. We had a candidate for a teaching position. This candidate graduated from really a very good school, They had earned good grades. They had a wonderful interview. We were very happy. We actually get hundreds of applications for our open teaching vacancies, and so we were quite enthusiastic about this candidate. But then we went and looked at her Facebook page. Yes, we do. We do go out and look at the Facebook page. That's part of our reference and background checks these days to, in fact, check social media sources. I will not go into what we found on this young lady's Facebook page, but just as a general piece of advice, it's probably not good to have a moniker or a handle starting with party girl. You probably don't want to do that. And you probably don't want to have one too many pictures with drinks in your hands. And I really don't want to see the picture of you in your Halloween bikini out there as well. And so the point here is that do not give your prospective employers an opportunity to pause and think a little more about you. Now, Mr. English mentioned, I was jotting this down, Snapchat, Vine, Instagram. I had no idea what he is talking about. But I do tell my granddaughter that do not post anything unpleasant or unseemingly online under the assumption that, yeah, my parents aren't going to see it because it's going to disappear in 10 seconds. It's there. It can be accessed. So just keep that in mind. You are, no matter how brilliant you believe you are, you're going to make some mistakes in life. But the only test I would suggest to you is don't do anything that your grandmother would be unhappy about. Just don't do it. You're going to encounter a lot of choices going forward, particularly as you get into college. There will be tests. You will be tempted to share answers on exams. You might be tempted to inhale. I don't know. You have to ask yourself, what do you do when you see someone else cheating? What do you do when you feel someone is being bullied? What do you do when you feel someone is being harmed or about to be harmed? What are your limits? Are you going to overindulge? Can you be pressured? Will you let someone else pressure you into doing something wrong just to keep up appearances or to keep friends? Ms. Powell said something very powerful here in her reflections, and that is make good choices. My son lives in New York. We communicate often. I use email, he uses text. But we still communicate. But I end every message to him by saying, enjoy life, make good choices. There is a great movie quote, perhaps worth memorizing, which says, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, just literally 20 seconds of embarrassing bravery, and I promise you something great will come of that. Class of 2014, you are obviously at the top of your game, or you would not be here. You are ahead of many of your peers. You're at a new beginning of a new phase of your life. You're going to tire of hearing that over the next month or so, but it is true. And you're going to be at a place where you're going to have to make a lot of choices. And your parents, you're going to say, fortunately, some of us might say, unfortunately, aren't going to be there to tell you how to make those choices. But what I would say to you is make good choices. Do not allow an impulse, do not allow the seconds to erase the minutes, hours, days, months, and years that you have taken and to build the achievements that you have and that you work so hard to maintain. All of that can be destroyed with bad decisions in a few seconds. Let me close with one final homework assignment for you. I often suggest to people that they go out to Google and Google the topic, things I wish I had learned. Things I wish I had learned. There are literally hundreds of millions of responses to that. And I would suggest that you read some of them. Do not read 100 million of them, but read a few of them. They're very good. You will learn a few things. The theme today, of course, is to cherish the past. I find that as I have more past, I'm beginning to cherish it a little more. Celebrate the present. I enjoy doing that. Conquer the future. I've got some concerns about personally doing that, but it is up to you. The future we're now leaving in your hands. You are, in fact, the next generation. You are poised to deal with the problems of our world. I do apologize. We've left you with a lot of problems to deal with. But again, we think that you can do it. But you're going to face choices, make good ones. You're going to face dilemmas. But I always remember the grandma test. Don't do anything that your grandma would be unhappy about. Make her proud. Let me convey the very best wishes on behalf of the entire Atlanta Public School System to each and every one of you, and the best of luck as you move to this next phase of your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davis, for those life lessons, as I like to call them, or I also say real talk, because I often find in my line of work that unfortunately there are a lot of good people out there who make one bad decision or they follow behind somebody and they wind up in a whole lot of trouble, a lot of good people who find themselves in some hot water. So very well said, and we know that you all in this room are just too smart for that. You have a bright futures ahead of you. At this time, we want to welcome Sharif Lee Brown, valedictorian at George Washington Carver Early College, who will offer a response to the superintendent's challenge. Please welcome Mr. Lee Brown.
Good morning. My name is Sharif Lee Brown, and I am a senior at Carver Early College High School. Superintendent Davis, on behalf of all the high school students of Atlanta Public Schools, I would like to thank you for sharing your history, wisdom, support, and accomplishments with us today. We are very fortunate to have you. Fellow students, Superintendent Davis has set the tone for what it means to be college and career ready. All of us have the potential to make a positive impact in this world. Let us embrace social responsibility. Let us prepare ourselves academically, and let us accept the charges set forth by Ms. Walden and Superintendent Davis to display academic excellence in everything we do. May we forever cherish the past, celebrate the present, and conquer all impediments of our grand and glorious future. Thank you.
We've been so blessed throughout this ceremony to hear from young women and men sharing wonderful words and messages with us, and also some great talents. And right now we're going to ask that the North Atlanta High School Orchestra once again join us for another musical selection. this time, please join me in welcoming representatives from Staples Business Advantage and Dr. Linda Anderson, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, who will lead us in the presentation of our honorees.
Good morning. My name is Kim Trotter. I'm with Staples. It is an honor to be here. I want to congratulate all the Salutatorians, Valedictorian, STAR students, STAR parents, STAR teachers, and all the distinguished guests that are here. We've been a partner with Atlanta Public Schools for many years, and this is truly the highlight of my year every year. I'm the sales representative from Staples, the liaison between Staples and Atlanta Public Schools. And the day in and day out grind of work comes to a pinnacle today when we're able to see success that kids put in their hard work day in and day out as they venture out into the world that we here in this room here know it's a pretty tough place out there. So what I would ask the kids, even though they're outside, is that I need help. So I'll talk to you guys since y'all are here. I need help. In 1984, May 21, 1984 to be exact, I started my career in office supplies. The number one SKU, the number one product that was sold, and I'd be interested to know if any of you even know what this is liquid paper. If you know what it is, raise your hand. Good for you. So when's the last time anybody's used liquid paper? Yesterday. All I know is that for a few years in there we were getting calls from the IT department saying, you got to stop selling this stuff. People would make a mistake typing, and then when they would use the liquid paper on their monitor, and it was messing up the monitors. So we've gone from liquid paper now to cell phones. Instant communication, constant communication, 24/7, and basically all over the world. I was talking with Dr. Davis just moments ago. SaharaDesert.com, Africa.com allows you to use your cell phone in the middle of the Sahara Desert. It's an amazing place. I think, and we've had lots of stories here and warnings already, that this is one of the largest challenges of the generation coming up is how do we use social media? How do we use it for the good? And how do we prevent the bad from coming through? So with that, I need help. I didn't grow up with this, so I don't think I'm innately able to solve some of these problems that we have. So I'm asking you, your generation, the millennium generation, to help us use this new power to take us forward in a positive manner. And so with that, I thank you for your time. And now I will, Dr. Linda Anderson, if you'll come up and save me.
Good morning. Thank you again to our Staples Business Advantage partners for your unwavering support of our students. And Mr. Davis, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom with our students this morning as well. I'm certain everyone will benefit from the advice that you've given them this morning. It is now my honor to introduce our stellar students and our teachers. And before doing so, I do want to share with you just a little bit about the process. Each year, the Atlanta Board of Education permits each traditional high school, including our individual small schools, to designate a valedictorian and salutatorian for each graduating class. High schools divided into small learning communities designate a valedictorian and salutatorian for the entire high school. The valedictorian is the student who has earned the highest class rank, and the salutatorian is the student who has earned the second highest rank in their graduating class. Both students are chosen at the end of the first semester of their senior year. Eligible students must have been enrolled in their respective high school from which he or she graduates by the end of the first semester of their junior year. This year, 40 students have been named as valedictorian or salutatorian of their respective schools. Now, additionally, our Student Teacher Achievement Recognition, which is called our STAR program, honors Georgia's outstanding high school seniors and teachers who have been the most instrumental in these students' lives. To obtain the STAR nomination for the class of 2014, our high school students must have earned the highest score on a single test date of the SAT. The nominees' SAT scores must be equal to or higher than the latest available average on the math, critical reading, and writing sections of the test. The national averages for 2014 are critical reading 496, math 514, and writing 488. This year, 16 students and 16 teachers are being recognized as a part of the STAR program. Please join me in recognizing our valedictorians, salutatorians, STAR teachers, and our highest ranked students for the class of 2014. Students, teachers, and principals, please come forward as I call your name. We will begin with Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy High School. Principal, Ms. Tamarian McCary Lakes. Valedictorian and STAR student, Jemiah Powell. Salutatorian and STAR teacher, Chelsea Burks and Joni Johnston. Next, we have Business, Engineering, Science, and Technology Academy at Carson, Principal Dr. Timothy Jones. Valedictorian, Sherrod McClendon. And salutatorian and STAR student, Michael Williams, STAR teacher, Sharon Jackson. George Washington Carver Early College High School. Principal, Ms. Marcine Thornton. Valedictorian, Sharif Lee Brown. Salutatorian and STAR students, Aisha Sayad. And STAR teacher, Kalina Jackson. George Washington Carver High School of Health Sciences and Research. Principal, Ms. Yvette Williams. Valedictorian, Rakia McKiram. Salutatorian, Monique Terrell. STAR student, Devon Woodruff. And STAR teacher, Aisha Denny. George Washington Carver High School of Technology, Principal, Mr. Jason Stamper. Valedictorian and STAR student, Kingsley Ayaya. Salutatorian, Melody Glenn. And star teacher, Adrian Dones. George Washington Carver High School of the Arts, Principal, Dr. Marvin Pryor. Valedictorian and star student, Albert Seymour. Salutatorian, Abel Billette. And star teacher, James Robinson. Frederick Douglass High School, Principal Dr. Eldrick Horton. Valedictorian and star student, Jamario Hobbs. Salutatorian, Devion Lewis. And star teacher, Crystal Gilliam. Henry Grady High School, Principal Dr. Vincent Murray. Valedictorian, Tucker Lancaster. Salutatorian, Samuel Heller. Star student, Archer Canane. And star teacher, Jeff Kramer. Maynard H. Jackson High School, Principal, Ms. Stephanie Johnson. Valedictorian, Lam Dang. Salutatorian and star student, Charles Hebert. And star teacher, Ann Jackson. Benjamin E. Mays High School, Principal, Dr. Tyrone Smith. Valedictorian, Amanda Watts. Salutatorian, Odyssey Wilson. Star student, Mantavius Smalls. And star teacher, Kimberly Marion. North Atlanta High School, Principal Dr. Howard Eugene Taylor. Valedictorian, Margaret Neal. Salutatorian and star student, Bailey Palmer. Star teacher, Robert Bramlett. South Atlanta High School of Computer Animation and Design, Principal Dr. Jared Scott. Valedictorian, William Pascal. Salutatorian, Jessica Johnson. South Atlanta High School of Health and Medical Sciences, Principal Dr. Patricia Ford. Valedictorian, Chana Robertson. Salutatorian, Danielle Davis. Star student, Felicia Williams. And star teacher, Mike Pirelli. South Atlanta High School of Law and Social Justice, Principal, Ms. Charlotte Davis. Valedictorian and star student, Jayla Palmer. Salutatorian, Kenyatta Walker. And star teacher, Candace Moore. D.M. Thurl High School of Health, Science, and Research, Principal, Ms. Shelley Powell. Valedictorian, Jennifer Onaha. Salutatorian, Abrielle Tarver. D.M. Thurl High School of Law, Government, and Public Policy, Principal, Mr. Joseph Harris. Valedictorian, Isabella Mentor. Salutatorian, Brianna Sanders. D.M. Thurl High School of Technology, Engineering, Math, and Science, Principal, Dr. Samuel Jackson. Valedictorian and star student, Charnice Belt. Salutatorian, Yaba Daji. and star teacher Rashad Thornton. Booker T. Washington Early College High School, Principal, Mr. George Rutledge. Valedictorian and star student, Lisa Wemaker. Salutatorian, Nija Muhammad. And star teacher, Tiffany Stembridge Taylor. Booker T. Washington High School of Banking, Finance, and Investment. Principal, Dr. Charcia Nichols. Valedictorian, Demetia Crowley. Salutatorian, Jarius Little. Star student, Madison Poozer. And star teacher, Winifred Pierce. Booker T. Washington High School of Health Sciences and Nutrition. Principal, Dr. Samuel Scavella. Valedictorian, Brittany Crawford. And salutatorian, Elizabeth Ushie. Please join me one more time for congratulating our wonderful students and their star teachers. Congratulations on a job well done indeed. At this time, I'd like to ask Brianna Sanders, a senior at Daniel McLaughlin Therrell School of Law, Government, and Public Policy, and Lam Dang, valedictorian at Maynard Holbrook Jackson High School, to come forward for a special presentation. I will be followed by a class poem, Giants, written by Lisa Waymaker, valedictorian and star student at Booker T. Washington Early College. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Sanders and Mr. Dang.
Mr. English, Ms. Walden, and Superintendent Davis, will you please join us in the center of the stage? Mr. English, Ms. Walden, and Superintendent Davis, on behalf of the valedictorian, salutatorians, and star students of the class of 2014, we present you with the commemorative posters of today's event. Again, thanks for all that you do to ensure that we leave as future leaders who are college and career ready with the perseverance necessary to display excellence in everything we do. Thank you.
I'm going to take 2 seconds of chairman's privilege, we'll call it. It would be really, really cool if on your way out of the door as you leave, if you can actually, if all the Val, Sals, and STAR students could actually sign their names by their pictures, like that would be really, really cool to put in our archives and keep, and it'll be worth a whole lot of money one day. So, like, if we can get a Sharpie and just put it outside, just sign by your name, that'd be really cool. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the breakfast. I wrote the following poem to honor all of the Valedictorians, Salutatorians, and STAR students who are seated here today. And the poem is entitled Giants, or titled Giants. Did they tell you flowers would bloom at your feet? That seas and mountains would part? Because you've made it to tables with service a la carte? Were you told that cars would stop for you on greenlit streets? That flies would shoo themselves at your arrival? That any obstacle in your way should have leapt because your excellence is a revival? Did they say your steps would cause quakes and the heat of your gaze could bake any rival into submission? Because you're the big catch for what society's been fishing, a giant looming at the highest height. Did they tell you your words would be dolloped with rhyme and that you are the master of time? You should know it doesn't matter what places you've been to. Your future is a mound of clay. What will you mold it into? We don't sit here because we are born better, our embryos encrusted with jewels, diamonds, treasures, or all of the above. We're not giants, but mortals with the good fortune of having choices we could make the best of. The years ahead have been forecast with all the golden bloom of sunshine. But your light is not in the confines of a title or a dining room. All grand things take root in rich purpose, and though it's lovely to have talents, accolades, and surplus, the test that awaits is finding that blessing you call mine, your calling. And though you've known highest heights, abandoning the fear of falling. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Very beautiful. Thank you so much. As you know, putting on events like this, they take a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a dedicated staff. And at this time, please join me in thanking the staff and Dr. Kenya Gilliard for putting so much work and effort into making the beautiful event that we're experiencing today what it's been. And at this time, Dr. Gilliard will join us for closing remarks and announcements.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, students, do you like your gifts? Mom and Dad, do you like your gifts? So, I'm excited. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Parents, if we can we just stand and acknowledge the parents and guardians that are in the room today? Congratulations again to each of you. It's actually been an honor to serve as a coordinator for the event this year. Students, I have enjoyed meeting all of you, working with you, your principals, counselors, school-based staff, moms and dads. We've talked late at night. So thank you all so much for pulling this event together. This is a true moment to honor you and celebrate you as you go on to bigger and better things after high school. Particularly, I want to thank our corporate sponsors, Georgia Power and Staples, for your continued support of just making this event possible, and certainly for your generosity in hosting this event and sharing these much-needed gifts with our students. So. You all can continue to email and text and tweet as you go on to bigger and better things. Thank you to our distinguished guests and the senior administrative team members for your commitment to education. It's through your support that it provides us the assurance that these students are indeed college and career ready for the 21st century. And finally, thank you to Ms. Dukes for presiding over the program today. And we have a small gift as a token of our appreciation. So, Deidre, thank you so much. Just accept this gift as a token of our appreciation for your talent, your times, and your efforts in making this event possible. Thank you. And just for some quick housekeeping, students, if you are transporting back on the buses are coming shortly. I know that many of our senior administrative team members, we have another community event that we'll need to scoot out of here for very quickly. So students, if you'll stay back and remain seated so we can oblige Mr. English's request, we'll make sure that everyone gets to sign the poster. And then I'll turn it back over to Ms. Dukes and we will move forward with the rest of our day.
Congratulations to you all once again. This does conclude our ceremony, and I wish you all the best and the brightest futures out there as you begin the next chapter of your lives. Have a wonderful afternoon, and congratulations again.
One Sharpie.